Dun, 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 dun. I'm live. Hooray. Hello. I'm Amanda Call, and I'm back after last week's technical difficulties of me not having internet. And we're going to be starting a new comic page. This is from Age of Night. This is chapter 26, page 9. I have all of my panel borders laid out, and so we're going to start roughing in our pencils. I have my thumbnail off to the side here that I'm going to be looking at. I have a script. I don't want to show you. I don't want to show you the script yet, but I have it. All right, so we're just going to start. Got my thumbnail nearby so I can look at it easier. I'm going to tape it in place because it's trying to escape. This is a page of mostly cat. Hello. Thank you for joining me, Ilya and Barney. All right, so there's the start of a cat. Hey, Hungry, thanks for joining me. There's the start of a cat. So this top, got caught on my sleeve. This top tier here is going to be this same kind of image of the cat, and the background is going to be changing for reasons that will make sense once this is all done. So for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rough in the one cat, and then once I have him finished, I'm going to light box him into these other two so that he's in exactly the same position in all of them, because I could try to do that by just freehanding and eyeballing it, but I would probably not get it as good as just tracing it. So we're going to move on. Hey, Doug is here. Doug's watching my stream. Thanks for joining me. All right, so I'm going to move on to this tier now, and on this tier, I need a perspective grid. I'm going to move my... Oh my god, it's Jason Hunt. Move my drawing board out of the way. Ugh. And I'm going to need some drafting tape. I swear I had some. Normally I have like a little like hoard of it on the edge of my desk, but I don't have any right now. No scumbling today. We're penciling today. So, stickies. If I can't be on the Chaotic Good cast, they will bring the Chaotic Good cast to me. I appreciate that. I missed out on the show last night. I watched some of it, and then I went to bed early because I was not feeling well. I'm better today, but not like 100%. But it's okay. I'm going to soldier on for my stream. Scumbling is where it's at, but it's not what we're doing today. All right, so I have to do a perspective grid down here. Actually, I'm going to scoot this up a little bit so you can see it more. The tape is to keep it from moving while I'm trying to do this, which you will see will make sense in a second. All right, tape it up here. So I got to put a perspective grid in here. We're looking down. So if we're looking down on the scene, that means the horizon line has to be up. So I'm going to put it, I don't want a super extreme angle, but I'm going to put it just above the edge of the panel up here. I don't need to draw it all the way through the entire page. I just need a mark on either side. And I'll mark that as that's my horizon line so I don't forget. And I need my big hunkin' enormous more than, see, it ends there at 36 and there's like 4 more inches. This is like a 40-inch ruler. I just hold the paper down, my opposite hand. Yeah, I mean, you can do that and then it can scoot away and you don't have it lined up anymore and then you're sad. All right, so I'm going to pick a point over here. Let's see if I can, over there is where I'm going to have my first perspective point right where that line meets the edge of my desk. It is pretty thick too. If it wasn't thick, it wouldn't hold its shape with how long it is. My light is in my way. It's the problem with using the enormous ruler. All right, so we're going to just pivot down from that first vanishing point. So I'm doing 2-point perspective here. And just every so often just draw a line so that I have something to go off of. A holiday scene. Hello, Touch the Puppet Head. That's an interesting handle. Thanks for joining me. And Spud is here. Hey, Spud. This is not a holiday scene. This is just a scene in my comic that's coming. Oh, no. Really? Really? Rude. Alright, I'll try to fix that. Man, that really broke off down in there. That's looking precarious. I'm having very bad luck with the Prismacolors lately. The last couple of blue ones, I've sharpened and thrown away about half of them because the tips kept breaking off. It's very frustrating. Pencil down. It is. Okay. So we've got our point over here for this set of lines. Now we need a point over there for the other set of lines. I'm going to scoot this over a little bit. Here. Make sure that I still line up with one of the lines on my desk that I'm using for my horizon line. I know, it makes me nuts. I gotta scoot my light out of the way. It's in the way. You're gonna have to just go over here for a second, light. Sorry, my lighting will be wonky for a second because my light is 100% in my way. Get. Alright, I'll put that back in just a sec. The lead is so soft on the Palomino Blackwings that when you sharpen them every couple... Oh, yeah, really soft leads like that. Alright, so I have another perspective point way the heck over there. Which is why I have the ginormous ruler. I'm going to do that. I'm doing my perspective grid lines in red and pink so that they're easy for me to see and distinguish from the blue that I draw everything else in. Okay, now I can put away my giant ruler and put my light back on my table so that we can actually see what I'm doing. I'll save these bits of tape for later. They still have lots of stick left in them. I do need that other point over there. That's what I was doing. It's getting that other point over there. All right. Where? There's I swear I had more pencil than this left. What is going on? Okay, that one's holding up. Yeah, these are pretty soft, so I do end up having to sharpen them pretty frequently. Okay, so there's going to be a word balloon here, so I just kind of leave a little placeholder there for later. No, go away. Be gone. Spam. Remove. Get out of here. Lobster strength. Is that what that is? Big old cat ears. His little, like, jelly bean body. I know. Wow. I think this is actually the first time I've managed to attract a spammer. I wonder what the threshold is where the spammers show up. We've reached it. We've reached the spammer point. I get spammers all the time on like my edited video comments, but not usually in the streams. I think that's a first. Okay, so we've got a big like round emblem on the floor here, which is what this perspective grid is to try to help me keep looking correct. That, and there's some other like architecture over here. This ellipse is supposed to look at least somewhat in perspective. So the center of this ellipse is like over here-ish. Oh no. Doug can't mute people on my stream, but he's not the spammer. There was a spammer. I deleted them. Okay. Ooh, fun. And then over here we've got cat. I suppose I could have done a perspective grid for this one, but it's kind of a tiny panel. I'm not too worried about it. My wonky not straight line. Oh no, I did not delete Doug. I did not delete Doug's comment. That was somebody else. It's very small cat drawing here. Cat looking very small in a large space is the idea. I'm gonna have to adjust where the floor is because I don't want to redraw the cat again. How did I go perspective grid to cat? Well, it's not like done, it's just roughed in. But cat will be roughly here. There's the floor and the big like medallion decoration on the floor, which is what the perspective grid was for, and keeping the cat looking like you makes sense. Now I'm roughing this one in. Try to keep up, Jason. I don't have a TikTok account. Pagan's got a TikTok account. Now it's like just me and Barney in the standoff. Not roughed in, meowed in. Got the skinny windows up here. All right. And then we've got more. We're going to have a couple of word balloons that break panel borders, which I always just put the panel borders in. And then my TikTok would, in fact, be Wilderness Gardens and Chickens. Almost certainly. Anyway, as I was saying, these word balloons are going to break these panel borders, but I always do the panel borders first because I don't know exactly where the word balloons are going to end up and how much space they're going to take up, and it's easy enough to just white out the panel borders and clean it up afterwards. I'm probably more of a cat person myself. I really like dogs. I enjoy hanging out with dogs, but I used to have them all the time when I was a kid. We always had a dog, at least one, usually multiple. But like I haven't actually had my own dog in a very, very long time. Go eat some foods, Jason. I haven't had my own dog in a long time because I spent many years as like being way too broke to afford a dog. It's hard enough to rent an apartment where they'll let you have a cat. But I've always had a cat. I never really went without a cat for any amount of time. It's just a lot easier to have a cat. We have kind of like a compound dog. I live right next door to several different family members, and my mother-in-law has a dog, and the dog just kind of wanders around between everybody's house. Oh, funny you should mention that, Barney. Funny you should mention that. There may in fact be a new furry family member joining the compound shortly after Christmas. But I will go on record as saying it was not me who did it. I may have suggested that we should maybe get another dog since the compound dog is very old and she's not doing very good at keeping wildlife out of the yard anymore because she just sleeps through it. But I didn't actually like pull the trigger on this one. Someone else did. All right. Everything is roughed in so far as we're going to do it at this stage. This is a pretty simple page, so it should go pretty quickly. Why is my camera shaking? I swear I'm not bumping into it. Relax, camera. Oh my gosh. Really? I'm starting to think I'm cursed. You have to see how much I've just been sharpening these pencils without really getting to use them, and that there's almost no wear on the eraser, and I'm almost out of pencil. That's how you know this has been a pencil that has not been cooperating. All right. It's been like most of this box has been dud, so let's see if this one's any better. Yeah, it's extremely frustrating. So part of the problem is since I get them in bulk, I think sometimes like the entire box has been like dropped somewhere along the way, and so several of them, the pigment core will just be completely shattered. And it's just like you don't have any way of knowing if that's happened somewhere before you get it, and there's not really much you can do. Like, what am I gonna do? Email Dick Blick and be like, "Hey, your pencils are broken," and they'll just say, "Okay, here's your couple of dollars back," or whatever. I mean, it doesn't really solve my problem. On the practical level of I have a pencil that is busted. I mean, I doubt that Blick would even do anything about that if you were like, "Hey, all my pencils are like breaking every time I sharpen them." They'd just be like, "Oh well." All right. Kitty, eyes half closed. Adjust those ears a little bit. They're up a little high. All right. Erase some of this extra stuff we're not using. Neaten this up a little bit as we go. That's starting to get to the point where it actually looks like something. Little chest furs. Front legs, shoulders. There we go. Rounded hind legs where he's sitting up. All right. And I'm not going to belabor the point. I know he's a black cat. That's all going to get filled in. All right. Just a little bit of a background going on back here. Got scoot that slightly. Actually, this perspective's pretty low. I'm not going to do that one. It should just be like this. You wouldn't see the bottom of that. It's like it's a narrow slit window and a thick wall, but if you're down on the floor with the cat looking up, you wouldn't see the inside of this edge. You'd see the inside of the top edge, but that's out of frame. So, like that. Okay. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to trace this and retrace it onto these two panels. So let me get out this will be some flopping around because of course I'm not like prepared. This beast. Oh goodness. Okay. This great big reliable old beast, the Gagne Portatrace, I bought while I was in art school approximately 1 million years ago. It's a great big old light box. I gotta plug it in 1 second. Gotta crawl around on the floor and plug it in. I also need a piece of paper. Okay. So yes, this thing is enormous. Turn it on. I'm going to turn off this other light so that you can see this a little better. There we go. Turn my other lights away. So they do make like skinny, fancy, modern LED versions of this same technology, which is literally just, it's a light box. It's a box with a light inside so that you can trace things. And I bought one of the skinny LED ones several years ago, and I was all like, oh yes, I can use this like slim, convenient LED one that I can just plug into my computer because it's like USB powered. I don't have to mess around with a giant honking power cord, and it's not this enormous box. And I had that thing for like a couple of months and it broke. I was so mad. So mad. All right, so I'm going to trace the actual outline first to make sure that I line up. Oh, don't do that. I have it taped down. I'm not going to go too crazy with tracing every little detail. I just want to make sure that I get everything in the same spot when I transfer this over to the other panels. So the basic outline, all the features, all where they belong. Background elements in the same spot. Okay, so now I've got this little traced version of it on top here. On my piece of scrap paper. Well, that didn't work. We're going to flip the masking tape around to the other side. This is some very old school stuff going on here. Yes, Control-C, Control-V would be easier. I'm not about to argue that point with you. You would be correct. All right. This middle panel is slightly smaller than the other two, so I'm just going to line up the top and the bottom and try to get it centered. And now that paper that I traced is underneath here. My Bristol is on top. Oh, no, wait. There's no background on this panel. There's things going on. Magic and stuff. Trace his little face. Where are we at? We're at 8:30. So these streams usually last for about an hour. So from 8 to 9 Eastern. Because after about an hour, I feel like we should probably all get up and stretch and get some water. Something like that. So we're about halfway through. All right, so now I've got that middle panel. He's there. I need one more for the third panel. And so now we're going to move over, line up with the panel borders. Get that drafting tape to stick. Now the background is in there again. So I'm going to put that back in there. To mess with his eyes a little bit there because they're supposed to be open on this one as opposed to being all the way closed or half closed or whatever else. Okay, so now we've got all three of those panels. All three of those panels penciled in there and traced, so now I can get this whole situation out of the way again. So let's get some light back on in here before I turn this off. All right, and let me get the. I gotta crawl on the floor and unplug it again. Hang on one second. All right, now we've got the giant light box out of the way. Thankfully, it actually lives somewhere very close at hand to my desk, so I could actually immediately put it away instead of just like putting it on a surface somewhere where it's going to be in my way later. That was unusually smart of me. Okay, so now we've got this kind of very basic, simple outline for both of these, and we're just going to kind of clean and tighten it up in a few places because it's a little wonky looking in that it is traced. His face is looking all weird and floppy there. All right, let's fix that. All right, we've got our Boop, 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 boop. Whiskers. It's not heavy, it's just awkward. So it's got the sides are like aluminum and then it's got a plastic top, and that's probably the heaviest part of the whole thing is like the plexi type plastic top. And then inside it's basically just like a fluorescent light bulb. And that's it. So I mean the whole thing weighs like maybe a couple of pounds. The biggest thing is just that it's awkward and it's got like a little stand on the back to help like prop it up if you were going to use it for a long period of time. But then most of the time it's just kind of like flopping and in the way while you're trying to move it around. So it's not heavy, it's just awkward. All right, clean some of this up a little bit. Fix this face a little. See, he's opening his eyes and kind of like, what is going on here? I don't really want him to have a smirky look. Fix that a little bit. I don't like how that's coming out. It's giving me a hard time here. All right, so now my top tier is drawn. Now we get to move on to the next tier. Sharpen my pencil. So now we're going to turn this series of scribbles into something that actually looks like a cat. Well, a talking cat. A talking cat that emotes like a person a lot. Because he is a person. He's just a cat-shaped person right now. This one is mine. So this one I've been writing and drawing for many, many years. It's called Age of Night, AGEOFNIGHT, and you can find it at ageofnight.com. I've been writing and drawing it for a long time. I had a co-writer for like the initial concept stage, but I've written all the scripts and he hasn't really been involved in the project in a really long time. So just me at this point. Get your other little foot in there, Drake. Hey, thanks. Really enjoyed always having this project kind of going on in the background, whatever else I might be working on. I do a lot of different like freelance work and everything, but it's kind of neat to just have my own personal project just churning in the background there. All right, so there's Drake looking around. We're going to try to clean up some of this business. Because there's a great big symbol of Kiara's on the floor. A great big medallion set into the middle of the floor of this room. Erase more of these guidelines I don't need anymore. Okay, so yes, this panel is mostly just Drake sitting in a bunch of emptiness. It's kind of the point of this one. Drake sitting in a great big empty room. All by himself. Being like, hello, why am I by myself? What is going on here? I drew this line for the floor like a few times and it was not right, any of them. Scoot this up so y'all can see it better. Just a little tiny cat in a great big room. Tiny cat in a great big room. Clean up some of those lines. Okay. Only 2 panels left. This is a very simple page. Doesn't take much time at all. I don't think he really needs like a grouchy looking face on this one. It's still looking more like, what is going on? Move his mouth forward. His mouth is like too far back. In a way that doesn't make sense. Still looks like a little bit too angry and less like, what is going on here? Inking definitely takes longer for this particular project. I can draw this pretty fast since I've been drawing all these characters for a really long time, so that generally doesn't take too long. But I do a lot of like ink rendering on the backgrounds, and that takes a long time. Oh, that ear is like backwards. His ears are kind of starting to tilt back because he's getting annoyed. I would say on my other comic project, though, that penciling probably takes longer than inking, but then I also have to color, so that takes a really long time. Coloring takes forever. Forever. Clean some of this business up. We've got the ceiling there, the edge of the ceiling. Okay. All right, so we're on to our last panel. It looks like we're going to probably end this a few minutes early because I'm almost done penciling this page. So that'll be the end of that. So I'll do the YouTube things while I work on this last panel here. Stop wiggling. Stop it. So, just to remind everybody, I'm Amanda Call. I'm working on a page for my webcomic Age of Night, which you can read at ageofnight.com. That's AGEOFNIGHT.com. I upload a new page every Wednesday, and you can read the whole thing for free. However, if you would like to help support me, you can always check me out on Patreon. Throw a couple of bucks my way there. That way you'll also get all of your Age of Night pages a week early and other little like behind the scenes kind of things. get free comics for signing up, all that kind of good stuff. And that's patreon.com/Age of Night, spelled the same way as the comic. I do these live art streams every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, unless something happens like my internet randomly doesn't work, like happened last week, which that's only so much I can do there. But almost every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you think that's fun and you want to hang out with me, make sure you subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Like this video and tell people about it and all the things. All the YouTube things. You can also find me on Instagram at Amanda Call Art and Twitter at Age of Night. I think that's pretty much all things. I'm not on TikTok. I'll be on TikTok when you are there, Barney. I've been waiting. I do have a YouTube channel. You're watching it right now. It's a very strange question. It's the channel you're on right now. Hit the subscribe button for the channel you're on right now. Oh, goodness. Sometimes I'm on the Chaotic Goodcast with Barney and a few other folks who have been in the chat. Doug and Jason. That's on YouTube as well. On Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. All right. Yes, that looks kind of silly and doesn't make sense. It's just a cat with no background. It doesn't make sense at this stage. It will make sense when the whole rest of the page is done. I think I did all of my things, my shout outs and things. All right, so we started this hour. We just had our panel borders laid out, but nothing in them. Now at the end of not even quite an hour, I've got the whole thing penciled. This is a very simple page, so the penciling was pretty quick. And next week, we will start working on lettering and inking. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me. I will see you next time. Bye.